1,441 people sent for self-quarantine for not wearing face masks in public places. Postal ballot paper distribution commences. Investigations launched into 4 former state ministers who have not returned their official vehicles. New swine flu discovered by Chinese researchers has pandemic potential, warns a study in US.
Hello there and welcome to Lunchtime News here on TV1. You're joining me, David Paldano. Now taking a look at some headline-making stories, 1,441 people who were not wearing face masks in public have been directed to self-quarantine. In the recent past, candidates of many parties contesting the general election did not seem to adhere to the health guidelines when attending public rallies. Let's now take a look at some of those instances. Now, according to the Ministry of Health, total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Sri Lanka has risen to 2,042. 5 patients tested positive for the virus yesterday. The 5 patients were returnees from Dhaka, Bangladesh. After 17 patients recovered yesterday, the total number of patients who have recovered from the virus increased to 1,678. 353 patients are currently in hospital receiving treatment for COVID-19 in Sri Lanka. Here are a few views expressed in the political arena leading up to the general election.
2020.
Those days they said they will bring Aloysius. We don't need any more evidence to prove that they are guilty. After seeing Mahendran not being arrested and the police and the secret police working towards getting Aloysius' bail proves that there are deals there.
රාජ් පොලිසියයි පොලිසියයි වැඩ කිරීමත් කිසිම ආයි වෙනසක් ඕනේ අපට පේන එතනත් ඒ ඩීල්.
First, we must build to share. After establishing government, we will take steps to investigate activities that happened during the previous government. We will do that against everyone who dwelled in corruption. We will certainly establish a government with a 2/3 majority after the 5th of August.
In a proportional voting system, it is impossible to get a 2/3 majority. That's why the government has made plans to somehow involve the central bank thieves and get a majority. Why are people in the Rajapaksa team who took money from Arjun Aloysius trying to establish a government? Because they are not sure whether they will be able to get a 2/3 majority.
Is Ranil Wickremesinghe doing the government's contract? I said it is definitely the government's contract. How talented should Mahinda Rajapaksha be to convince Ranil Wickremesinghe to fulfill a government contract? Harin Fernando is nowhere to be seen. He lost all the votes.
We can identify Rajapaksa as our main enemy, and we know a minority from our camp who are close to the Rajapaksas. That minority will get 1 seat through the national list. We can see how they compete for the seat given through the national list after the 5th of August.
The pond of the UNP will be filled with clean water over time. We are moving towards victory. this country will get a new set of leaders. Don't be deceived. They will come back after 2-3 days. They will bring out 25 bags of rice and come back here.
Even though it is difficult, the Pohottuwa team is reaching the two-third majority. I have got a letter saying that disciplinary inquiry of the SLFP will take place in the coming few days. That is ridiculous. I have left the SLFP and I am a member of the Pohottuwa. 16 people left. If the SLFP have taken a decision then on time, we would have been able to defeat the motion of no confidence.
2020.
Meanwhile, the distribution process of postal ballot papers for the 2020 general election began today. Deputy Postmaster General Rajitha Ranasinghe stated that this will be carried out tomorrow and day after tomorrow. The distribution of 29,517 postal votes in Mathura district is taking place at the Mathura Mahavidyalaya. Meanwhile, the distribution of postal votes of Galle district took place at the district secretary office today.
Since 8 a.m. this morning, 40,771 postal votes have been registered in the Galle district. Mailing those postal votes will happen for 3 days starting from today. In 23 centres, ballot papers are prepared to be mailed to the respective addresses of the workplaces of postal voters.
Venerable Omalte Sobhita has requested the National Election Commission to take legal action against Vinayagamurthy Muralidharan, aka Karuna Amman.
Venerable Omalpe Sobhita has met with the chairman of the National Elections Commission and informed him in writing that the controversial statement made by Karuna Amman recently before media is a punishable offence under the Prevention of Terrorism Act and the Penal Code.
We made a complaint to the IGP and to the CID regarding this treacherous statement made by Vinayagamurthy Muralidharan. Today, we handed over a letter to the chairman of the National Election Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya. He has violated the law under the sentence 1979, number 48 of the Prevention of Terrorism Act. Also, he has violated the sentence 81 of the Parliamentary Act. Such a person who claims to be a murderer and a terrorist is not suitable to contest the election. He has to be removed from the list with immediate effect. We mentioned in the letter that his candidacy should be revoked from the election.
A public rally was held in Colombo yesterday under the patronage of the leader of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, Sajith Premadasa.
The female Balamandali meeting of Samagi Jana Balawegaya was held at Borala yesterday. It was organised by Atula Ranagala and Jayantha De Silva.
At the presidential election, we formed a policy for women. But the people of this country did not accept the policies formed for women, nor us. 6.9 million believed that the future of women will be formed through the victory of our opposing camp. However, the government does not care about anemia, body mass or malnutrition. All they want is the two-third majority. I promise you that on the 5th we will win the election and implement the policies that were formed during the presidential election for a better future for women. I would like to say that within 6 months we will ensure the economic, political, cultural and religious rights after turning those policies into law, and we will build a proud generation of women in this country.
Another public rally was held in Kimula Ella in Colombo 15. Sajith Premadasa attended public rallies in the Ranmutu Uyana and Modara Uyana housing scheme in Modara. This was the rally held in the Stadium Vata in Colombo 14.
The Prime Minister is talking about some money given to the LTTE. I would like to ask who gave the money to the LTTE during the 2005 presidential election. Now the attempt is made to completely forget the valiant warrior who saved the country and to save the fact that 3,000 soldiers were killed.
Sajid Premadasa also participated in a meeting held at the Metsandasevana housing scheme.
In more headline-making stories, the National Election Commission has said that an investigation has been launched into 4 former state ministers who have not handed over their official vehicles. The NEC said that their attention will also be drawn towards the other state ministers as well. The Commission added it has informed all the ministry secretaries to accept all the official vehicles and staff members to their respective ministries. The Commission points out that the official term of the former state ministers ended on the 2nd of March. The NEC further added that holding on to the official vehicles and the staff under any circumstances is illegal. Foreign Relations Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo engaged in discussions on matters of bilateral interest in a telephone conversation last evening.
US-Sri Lanka cooperation in COVID response, supply of PPEs to the US, donation of ventilators to Sri Lanka and COVID-related bilateral assistance amounting to $5.8 million, economic recovery initiatives, defense and security matters, counterterrorism and international economic cooperation featured in the discussions. According to a Foreign Ministry release, Minister Gunawardena briefed his US counterpart on the review report of the MCC, the forthcoming parliamentary elections, and thanked the US for the support extended to the reconciliation and the resettlement process in Sri Lanka. In a tweet, the US Secretary of State has said, quote, "Productive call with Sri Lankan Foreign Minister today on our COVID-19 cooperation, pandemic assistance, and the US commitment to a strong sovereign Sri Lanka," unquote.
Meanwhile, Minister Mahinda Amaraveera said that a donation of $100 million has been given for a renewable energy project by India. The minister expressed the following views at a media briefing in Colombo today.
අපේ ඉන්දියානු ආධාරය යටතේ ලැබිලා තිබෙනවා $100 million 100ක්.
We have received $100 million under the donation given to us by India. The entirety of that donation will be used to generate environment-friendly renewable energy. With this donation, we will take steps to build solar panels for schools, universities, government offices and hospitals. There are 12,500 families in Sri Lanka without electricity. They have power lines but no supply because they simply cannot afford it. All of them will be given a solar panel kit. Also, the cabinet approval has been given to provide a solar panel kit for low-income families.
විදුලි බලය තිබුණත් අඩු ආදායම් ලාභීන් වෙතත් මෙම මුදල් යොදවාගෙන නොමිලේම විදුලි බල සූර්ය බල කට්ටලයක් ලබා දෙන්න කැබිනට් අනුමැතිය ලැබිලා තියෙනවා.
In more headline-making stories, further investigations have been launched into the 12 weapons that were found in Pitipana, Homagama, and have been handed over to the Criminal Investigation Department.
Newsfirst made inquiries from the Criminal Investigations Department about the details of the investigations of the weapons discovered yesterday. A senior officer of the CID stated that the organized criminal Koskoda Taraka and Gagana, who are remanded in relation to this incident, are to be interrogated. The 12 weapons that were found yesterday were discovered inside an electric equipment distribution center on the Morgahahena Road near High Level Road, Pitipana, Homagama. They were discovered after a special raid conducted by the Police Special Task Force. One T-81 weapon and 11 T-56 weapons are among the seized weapons. One suspect was arrested with the weapons, and according to the police, it was revealed later that the arrested suspect is an organized criminal known as Potta Kapila. It was revealed that there have been close ties between Potta Kapila and Gagana, who is under remand custody.
Steps have been taken to transfer head of the Narcotics Bureau DIG Sanjiva Madhavata to the Police Welfare Division. The acting IGP has made a recommendation to the National Police Commission regarding this matter.
The National Police Commission stated that DIG KB Aponsu has been recommended to fill in the position left vacant at the Police Narcotics Bureau. The Commission will convene the day after tomorrow to consider the recommendations.
Now, Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has ordered the European Union's ambassador to leave the country within 72 hours. The ambassador's expulsion comes hours after the EU placed sanctions on 11 Venezuelan officials. They were sanctioned for acting against the National Assembly headed by opposition leader Juan Guaido. Guaido declared himself interim president last year but has failed to remove Maduro. The opposition leader has the backing of the EU and the US. In his announcement yesterday on state television, speaking of the EU, Maduro said, quote, "If they can't respect Venezuela, then they should leave it," end quote. He added, quote, "A plane can be loaned for her to leave," end quote. Venezuela's airspace is currently closed due to the coronavirus pandemic. Well, that is a wrap of lunchtime news here on TV1. For more news, log on to our award-winning website, www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I'm David Paldano. Take care.